I hereby call the meeting of the Brockton City Council for Monday, September 14th, 2020, 7 p.m. to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being held in accordance with Governor Charlie Baker's signed open meeting law order dated March 12, 2020, which relieves a public body from the requirement of Section 20 of Chapter 30A that it conduct its meetings in a public place that is open and physically accessible to the public, provided that the public body makes provision to ensure public access to the deliberations of the public body for interested members of the public through adequate alternative means following COVID-19 procedures. Good evening, everybody. I believe before we commence with our agenda, Mayor Sullivan's here this evening with us. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, Madam President. Good evening, City Councilors. Thank you for having me here tonight. I truly appreciate it. A couple things that I wanted to do tonight. First of all, I just wanted to give you, and you got the dashboard, but I just wanted to give you a status update. 283 is still the loss of life, 283 deaths. Total count, 4,711. Current active Brockton case is 96. We are in a yellow classification, so that's the good news. We're at 6.3. The state average is 4.6. So that window was based on August 23 to September 5. Dr. Rick Herman will provide further updates as soon as we get them. We will be reporting to the school committee tomorrow night, because once you're in a yellow classification, the municipality vis-a-vis the school committee can decide if fall sports, they're limited. It's golf, cross country, field hockey. We will not do indoor volleyball, and soccer. It's a different type of soccer under the MIAA. So I just want to give you that status update. I also want to let you know that it's my honor and privilege to have Dr. Eno Mondesor here tonight. I wanted to do this last week, but we had a conflict. We had to go to the school committee because Monday was the holiday. But Dr. Mondesor is the new Executive Director of Board of Health. He has a master's from Boston University in Public Health. He also holds a PhD in counseling, speaks 3 languages, lives in a neighboring community, Randolph. But it was a unanimous vote. It was myself, Linda Cahill, Dr. Craig Andre, who's a member of the Board of Health, and Sandra Knight when we vetted out and interviewed. And Dr. Mondesor started. He is the new Linda. He is the new John. He is the new Amy. He is the new Louie. But he is really a great professional. He's bringing some skill sets to the Board of Health that have never existed. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Mondesor before you this evening. Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to Mayor Honorable Sullivan and members of the Council of City of Brockton. Thank you for allowing us to be here in front of you this evening. When I was looking to find a place where I could continue to use my skills, the door was open with a light showing that Brockton needs someone who could help in this pandemic that we're living in. And so therefore, I know this is not the only pandemic that we're fighting, but at least there is one that is very difficult for us to ignore. And as you know, COVID-19 is with us for some time. So among other pandemics and other issues that we're fighting, I'm here to work as much as I can and as effective as I can in that to be able to make sure that we build a healthier city where people can live, continue to live and work, and have the degree of safety that is needed. And hopefully we'll be able to accomplish this as time allows. So as Honorable Mayor Sullivan says, we have been working in public health before. We have worked in the City of Boston for 15 years, and I'm also a faculty at Area Community College. And so therefore, my goal is to work with you and to make sure that I address your concerns and make sure that our residents find a place that is safe and healthy to work, to live, and raise the family.
Thank you, Doctor. On behalf of the council, welcome aboard, and we look forward to working with you. I don't know if any councilors have any Councilor Lally?
Thank you. Welcome. Congratulations. I just had just a quick question. Is your position, are you required to move to the city of Brockton?
The stipulation is there, sir.
Okay. Do you have any intention to come to Brockton?
I'm working on that. I don't know, I cannot give you a specific deadline at this point in time.
No worries. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Sir? Thank you very much, Doctor. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Thank you. Councilor Lally, I do want to just go on record. I will be putting in a waiver before. And again, I've made it clear to Doctor, it's up to the legislative body if a waiver would be granted. I will tell you that the 3 Board of Health members, Dr. Mary Brophy, Dr. Andrade, and George Fisk, will be advocates. Very, very few people with the qualifications to lead the Board of Health have applied here in the city of Brockton. So they have a master's in public health, but it's up to the will of the council. But I just want to make it clear that I will be putting that forward, and then we'll just, and I've made it clear to Eno, ultimately the 11-member board will decide if they want to give a waiver or not give a waiver. Thank you. Madam President, the other piece of information I want to share tonight, and she's not new to any of us, but it's my honor and privilege to officially announce that Megan Bridges, Attorney Megan Bridges, who's worked for the city of Brockton almost 4 years now, is the new city solicitor. I pointed her the other day. I know I sent an email correspondence to you. Attorney Bridges brings a real wonderful professional skill set to the law department. As I said, when I sat up there for 14 years, we want to treat our law office like a law firm, right? We need to keep adding really good people. But since we did not have one for a while, Megan definitely stepped up in that capacity. We have great lawyers there. We really do. We just added an assistant, a local Brockton lawyer, Attorney Donegan. Tony Donegan is a part-time assistant. But Megan has hit the ground running, as they say, being the department head and making some really wonderful endeavors. So there is a communication that I have respectfully asked the council president to accept as a late file. It's just a simple communication from me to the council and to the president, again, just ratifying the appointment. So Attorney Bridges.
Good evening, City Solicitor Bridges.
Thank you, thank you, thank you to the mayor. The confidence is appreciated, and thank you to the council for having me. I enjoy working with all of you, and I think this change really represents 3 things: that I'm able to augment an already exceptional legal team that you all know and work with, so that should provide some confidence and comfortability. Transitions always, can cause some questions. Also, there's an opportunity for us collectively to continue doing good work that we already have established, started on, and can do together. And facilitating, as the mayor said, aiding his sort of longstanding desire to transition to more like a law firm. So with those things, I'm delighted to embark on this leadership role and continue in working with you guys in the way that we have for quite some time.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we look forward to continuing to work with you in this capacity. So, councilors, Councilor Farwell?
Madam Solicitor, as I texted you the other day, don't be afraid to tell us or the mayor, no, you can't do that because the law doesn't allow it and the case law is against you. It's so important to be an independent legal representative of the city, and I mean that sincerely. If we need to take a hike on an issue, you're the one that's got to tell us. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad we all heard that together.
On the record.
All set? Well, thank you and congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And the last piece of information, I just want to let you know that city solicitor is a Brockton resident. And really the only knock on Megan is she's a Northeastern Husky, not a Boston College Eagle. So to me, it's a give and take. but I'll take it anytime. So I want to thank you all, and she has a wonderful working professional relationship with your legislative counsel as well, Shannon Resnick. So thank you for your
Thank
time
you.
tonight.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mayor.
councilors.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Clerk, agenda item number 1.
We have the acceptance of the city council meeting, minutes of the August 24, 2020 meeting.
Accepted and placed on file.
The appointment of Paul Studenski of 48 Carlisle St, Brockton, Mass, for an alternate to the full member of the, from an alternate to a full member of the Licensing Commission for a 3-year term ending February 2023.
Referred to finance.
We have an appointment of retired police officer Charles Cassiani, Jr. as a special police officer.
Referred to finance.
Appointment of Hank Tartaglia of 33 Brook St, Brockton, to the Licensing Commission for a 3-year term ending September 2023.
Referred to
The
finance.
reappointment of David Santos as a weights and measure agent in the City of Brockton for a 1-year term ending 2021.
Referred to finance.
We have a hearing petition of Paul Berry Jr. of 25 Mohawk Way, Cohasset, Mass., Brockton Iron and Steel, LLC, requested a junk collector's license at 45 Freight Street, Brockton, Mass. Current owner, Brockton Iron and Steel Company. In City Clerk's Office, August 13, 2020. Hearing assigned for September 14, 2020. All necessary paperwork is on file.
Time having arrived, I declare this hearing open. Is there anyone here in favor? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. Good evening, Attorney McCluskey.
Mr. President, members of the council, Attorney John McCluskey. I actually represent the seller, Elaine Stone, who has Briscoe Baling Corp. And Golden Recycling LLC. We have this property under agreement with Mr. Paul Barry, who is here, and he's recently created a company called Brockton Iron and Steel LLC. As you probably know, Brockton Iron and Steel has been at this property, 45 Freight Street, for probably 100 years. It's been there for a long time. And Mr. Barry, my client is retiring. Mr. Barry has decided to purchase the property. Basically, we'll run it in the same manner that it's been run over the years. It's a prior non-conforming use authorized by zoning well before zoning came into effect. We would just request that the council, by the way, the License Commission, there was another license, they approved that a couple weeks ago, we would request that the council approve the transfer of this license. Closing is anticipated to be tomorrow, and we would respectfully request your favorable approval.
Counselor Thompson, this is your ward.
Yeah, good evening, Attorney McCluskey. So I did have an opportunity to speak with, and I apologize, I did not catch. Barry, yes, Mr. Barry. So, Mr. Barry, I understand you've been in the junk collection business since 1972. You want to tell us about your background in the area?
As you said, 1972, I started my first waste disposal business. I've been in it until 2 years ago. It was Graham Waste Services. They are garage down on North Montello Street. We were there for, as I owned it, for 10 years with no problems whatsoever. Like I say, I had 3 waste service companies, and then I also had one paper recycling company back in the 90s in Watertown. Been a truck driver in the industry for years, like the industry, and see this as an opportunity to make it work.
And Mr. Barry, for the information of our residents, what are your intended hours of operation?
Intended hours are 7 to 4, Monday through Friday, 7 to 12 on Saturday.
And you'll be closed on Sunday?
Yes.
Now, just Mr. Barry, that area, Freight Street, can sometimes get a little junky. So I'm just asking, if you see anything that you can go and take care of, we'd appreciate that. I know there's also a homeless issue in that area, so if at any time you see the gathering of homeless in that area, please feel free to reach out, and we'll try to take care of that.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. Nothing further, Madam President.
Any other questions, councilors? Council Fowler?
Madam Chair, through you to Councilor Thompson, would you be willing to make a motion to add those stipulations to the granting of the license in terms of the days and hours of operation?
Yes, I'll make a motion to amend, is this the petition? Make a motion to amend the petition to include the hours of operation that Mr. Barry just stated. I believe that was 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday. No working on Sunday. Is that correct?
Could I address that?
Yes, please go ahead.
I would like to have the opportunity, right now it's pretty good, but on the trucking end of bringing things in, you could have to hold out to probably 5 o'clock in the evening. I don't want to, but the company has lost a lot of customers over the last few years. I'm kind of familiar with a lot of them, and I'd like to draw them back and have the opportunity, if they have to come late to 5 o'clock, make that change someday, and I don't know the process at the current time, but.
Right, we don't want to limit your business, Mr. Barry. Is it my understanding that are hours of operation something that's handled in licensing? Do they discuss that issue? No.
We can stipulate.
So, yeah. Just, Madam President, through you to Councilmember Farwell. Yeah, I don't want to limit their business by setting hours that potentially he may run afoul of. I'm comfortable with you stating that your intention is to shut down at 4 o'clock, but at times, for business reasons, you may require to stay open until 5.
Okay, thank you.
I'm comfortable with the petition as is.
Okay, are you all set, councilors?
Well, Madam Chair, I just think it's important, if we're granting this license, if he wants to go to 5 o'clock, I don't have a problem with that, but I think that where this is our license and these are the hours that he'd like to be open, we should establish that. We do that in terms of a lot of other businesses, and I understand my colleague's reluctance, but if 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 7 to 12 noon is acceptable on Saturday, I just don't want to wake up someday and find out that for whatever reason, they're operating at 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, I think we ought to be reasonable here and set some limits, so.
Correct, so this is the hearing, so that's fine. The stipulations can be set at the end of the hearing. Right now, we're,
5, they'll go 7 to 5.
Are you comfortable with that, Mr. Barry, as 7 to 5 hours of operation?
7 to 5, let's go with that,
Okay.
please.
Then if you're fine with that and you don't believe that's going to limit your business, then I would have no problem making a motion to amend the petition to include the stipulation of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, with the 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, closed on Sunday, hours of operation.
Second.
Counselor, we'll hear the motion at the end of the hearing, because we have to continue the hearing, and then you can state the motion at the end of the hearing.
Thank you,
Okay,
Madam
Counselor
President.
Thompson.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barry.
Counselor Nacastro.
Thank you. I just wanted to suggest you may want to consider being closed on legal holidays as well. And I support stipulations. We want you to succeed, of course, but we are always balancing the needs of our residents in the city with the needs of our businesses.
I understand.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I'll speak to you in a little while, Mr. Barry, so that maybe we can go over some of these stipulations.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, counselors? Is there anyone else here in favor? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. If not, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. Is there anyone here in opposition? Please come forward and state your name to the clerk. If not, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. At this point, Counselor Thompson, if you want to state your motion. We just closed the hearing.
If, as you stated, if we can vote on, you said enter stipulations at the end of the meeting, so I can just have an opportunity
Right,
to
at
speak.
the end of the hearing.
The hearing. Okay.
Correct.
Then I'll take a shot in the dark. We'll say, I'd like to make a motion to amend the petition to include the hours of operation of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday, closed on Sunday, and all holidays.
Second.
Legal holidays. Still working Arbor Day.
A motion's been made to accept the stipulations. All those in favor of the stipulations? All those opposed? The stipulations passed. Right now, the question is on granting. Madam Clerk, please read the roll. Or is it a hand vote, or? We
Can granted a hand vote.
we can, yep, so the question is on granting. All those in favor? All those opposed? The petition's granted. Congratulations, Mr. Barry.
Thank you very much.
We have the petition of National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc., requesting permission to erect and maintain poles and wires to be placed thereon, together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as said companies may deem necessary to be owned and used in common by your petitioners in the following public way or ways: Campanelli Industrial Drive, National Grid to install 3 new intermediate poles, P1-1, P5-1, P8-1, in order to raise the overhead wires higher due to the low wire issue where trucks are hitting the wires. In Clerk's Office, September 3rd, 2020. Hearing is signed for September 14th, 2020. All necessary paperwork is on file.
Time having arrived, I declare this hearing open. Is there anyone here in favor? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Simon Young, one of the National Grid engineers. So as stated, we are installing 3 poles, 1-1, 5-1, and 8-1, to raise the overhead wires along Campanelli Industrial Drive. We are also gonna be improving all of the pole top constructions on this entire street, so it's just raise the overhead wires on the street.
Very good. So this is a Ward 7. I have just a quick question. Have you had, it said that trucks have pulled some of the wires or have, due to trucks passing, is there any specific business there that's had major issues or that you can tell us?
I was not the engineer assigned to this request, so I might be misinformed.
No
but-
problem. I'll look into it, so no problem at all. Any other questions, councilors? Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. Is there anyone else here in favor? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. If not, that portion of the hearing is closed. Is there anyone here in opposition? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. If not, that portion of the hearing is closed. We will vote on this at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
We have the report of the Finance Committee for the meeting of September 8th, 2020.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the mayor in accordance with the revised ordinances of the City of Brockton, Chapter 2, Section 2-186, advising the city council members that he has appointed Anthony Donigan to the position of Assistant City Solicitor, part-time, for a 3-year term effective August 28, 20.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the chief of the fire department requesting the acceptance of expenditures of $2,625 from the Last Call Foundation COVID-19 Decontamination Grant. This will cover the decontamination for all 6 stations and 1 fire alarm building. This is a donation to the city with no cost.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor, in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, recommending the acceptance and expenditures of the total grant and the amount of $2,625 from Last Call Foundation, COVID-19 Decontamination Grant to Fire Department, Last Call Foundation, COVID-19 Decontamination Grant.
Accepted and placed on file.
Mayor, communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 4, recommending the authorization to execute the intermunicipal agreement with the Town of Whitman for treatment of wastewater.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the superintendent of schools requesting a capital repair bond in the amount of $2,084,612 for the needed repairs to the Huntington Alternative School located at 1121 Warren Avenue, Brockton. The request consists of repairs and resurfacing of the school roof along with associated repairs. This communication from the superintendent has a different amount than the communication from the mayor and CFO. We have a communication from the mayor recommend the same. However, the total amount, and that is $2,934,376.
Accepted and placed on
We have a
file.
communication for CFO recommending the same.
Accepted.
With a figure of $2,934,376.
Accepted and placed on file.
This is also a conditional certification based upon the developing a clear plan for the long-term debt management.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the Director of Planning and Economic Development declaring 4 newly formed lots of Petronelli Way and Franklin Street as surplus and authorizing their transfer to the Brockton Redevelopment Authority.
Accepted and placed on file.
From the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the Chief of the Police Department requesting the authorization to expend grant monies related to the 2019 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant awarded to the City of Brockton as a subrecipient of the Plymouth County JAG project in the amount of $74,624.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on
I have a
file.
communication from the Director of Planning and Economic Development stating that the city was awarded a recoverable site readiness grant for mass development in the amount of $150,000 regarding a parcel of land on Newland Street.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a conditional certification from the CFO recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the Chief of Police Department requesting the authorization to expend grant monies related to fiscal 2021 Public Safety Answering Point and Regional Emergency Communications Center support and incentive grant in the amount of $535,153.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have the appointment of Frank Gurley of 375 Pearl Street, Brockton, to the Brockton Redevelopment Authority for a 5-year term ending July 2025, in council August 24, 2020, postponed to September 14, 2020, city council meeting by a hand vote.
Councilor Mendez.
Yes, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to table this item.
Second.
A motion's been made to table this item and properly seconded. All those in favor of tabling? All those opposed? The item is tabled.
The appointment of Philip Griffith of 19 Embry Street, Brockton, to the Brockton Redevelopment Authority for a 5-year term ending July 2025, in council August 24, 2020, postponed to September 14, 2020, city council meeting by hand vote.
Councilor Mendez.
I'd like to make a motion to table this item.
Second.
A motion's been made to table this item and properly seconded. All those in favor of tabling? All those opposed?
Take a roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
No.
Ianieri,
No.
Farwell,
No.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
No.
DeCastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
That's 7 in the affirmative, 4 in opposition. The motion carries.
The matter is tabled.
Order that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the City of Brockton require the laying out and acceptance of Endicott Street extending from Court Street northerly to Leahy Road, a distance of about 598 feet, more or less, and for that purpose, it's necessary to take an easement of highway purposes and layout as a public street or way of said City of Brockton. In council, April 15, 2020. Read and referred to Standing Committee on Finance and Planning. Those reports were favorable.
The question is on adoption by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asek,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
DeCastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Order that the common necessity and convenience of the inhabitants of the City of Brockton require the laying out and acceptance of Royal Road extending from Endicott Street to east of Albany Road, a distance of about 2,533 feet, more or less, and for that purpose, it's necessary to take an easement for highway purposes and layout as a public street or way of said City of Brockton. In council, April 15, 2020. Read and referred to the Standing Committee on Finance and Planning. Those reports were favorable.
The question is on adoption by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asek,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianary,
No.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
DeCastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
10 in the affirmative, 1 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Letter transfer of $808,250 from the DPW Sewer Division sewer connection fee for $250,000 and DPW Water Division water connection fee $558,250 to DPW Sewer Division capital projects for $250,000 and the DPW Water Division capital projects for $558,250. And City Council, August 24, 2020. Read and refer to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable.
The question is on adoption by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asek,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
DeCastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Letter of transfer of $32,000 from the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, City of Brockton Emergency Management Area Planning Council, and City Council, August 24, 2020. Ready to refer to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable as amended.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? The amendment carries. Now the question is on adoption as amended by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asek,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
DeCastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Order of transfer of $6,000 from Old Colony Elder Services to Brockton Council on Aging and Council, August 24, 2020. Ready to refer to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable as amended.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? The amendment carries. The question is on adoption by, as amended by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asek,
Yes.
Cardozo,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Ianary,
Yes.
Farwell,
Yes.
Lally,
Yes.
Mendez,
Yes.
Monahan,
Yes.
DeCastro,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Order transfer of $269,712.04 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, State 911, Fiscal 20, State 911, from Executive, strike that, 911 training grant to Brockton Police Department Fiscal 20 911 Training Grant Fund, and council August 24, 2020. Read and refer to Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable as amended.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? The amendment carries. The question is on adoption as amended by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ianieri?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
DeCastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Order of transfer of $5,000 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Office of Grants and Research Highway Safety Division, Fiscal 2020 Traffic Enforcement Grant Program, Summer Impaired Driving Grant, to Brockton Police Department Fiscal 2020 Traffic Enforcement Grant Program, Summer Impaired Driving Grant Fund. And council August 24, 2020, ready to refer to Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable as amended.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor? All those opposed? The amendment carries. The question is on adoption as amended by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ianieri?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
DeCastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted.
Order of total transfer of $164,376.18 from the Executive Office of Health and Human Services Fiscal 21 Safe and Successful Youth Initiative Grant to Police Department, to Brockton Police Department Fiscal 21 Safe and Successful Youth Initiative Grant Fund, and Council, August 24, 2020. Ready to refer to Standing Committee on Finance. Our report is favorable.
The question is on the
As
amendment.
amended, I'm sorry. Strike that, as amended.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? The amendment carries. The question is on adoption as amended by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ianieri?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
DeCastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
That's 11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted as amended.
Order of transfer of $600,000 from the Federal Emergency Agency Fiscal 2019 Assistance to Firefighters Grant for $545,454.55 to Fire Department Fiscal 19 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Fund. The required 10% of $54,545.45 match to be appropriated from the Fire Department ambulance receipts to Fire Department capital projects. And Council, August 24, 2020, ready to refer to the Standing Committee on Finance. That report was favorable as amended.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? The amendment carries. The question is on adoption as amended by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Asak?
Yes.
Cardozo?
Yes.
Cruz?
Yes.
Ianieri?
Yes.
Farwell?
Yes.
Lally?
Yes.
Mendez?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
DeCastro?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
11 in the affirmative, 0 in opposition.
The order is adopted as amended.
An ordinance to provide noise control and establish and to enforce civil infractions for violations be ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton. A new ordinance be added to the revised ordinances, Chapter 14 Offenses, Miscellaneous, as Section 14-49, or in the next section available.
Refer to ordinance.
Appropriation of $2,625 from Last Call Foundation's COVID-19 Decontamination Grant to Fire Department Last Call Foundation COVID-19 Decontamination Grant.
Madam President?
Counselor Fowler?
On this agenda item, could we just have the clerk check the paperwork? These are grants coming in, and I want to make sure we don't have to do all those amendments again to accept the grant under Chapter 44, 53 and a half. I just want to make sure the paperwork submitted to the clerk's office was appropriate, so we don't have to go through that again.
Okay.
Is that the case, Mr. Clerk?
All right.
So we're not appropriating, we're accepting a grant
You're accepting the grant, I believe.
and authorizing expenditure of the grant?
That's correct.
Okay.
On that, Robin, want to just pull that for me, please? Make certain.
I just want to make sure we have the wording correct so that we don't have to go through all those amendments again.
Number 40. It's acceptance and expenditures of the grant award in the amount of $6,000.
Thank you.
So that's referred to finance.
Okay, we're on number 41.
Correct.
Am I correct? An order of appropriation of $74,624 from the Plymouth County U.S. Department of Justice Fiscal 19 Justice Assistant Grant JAG Award to Police Department Fiscal 19 Justice Assistant Grant JAG Award.
Referred to finance.
An order of appropriation of $535,153 from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, State 911 Department, Fiscal 2021 Public Safety Answering Point and Regional Emergency Communications Center Support and Incentive Grants to Police Department, 2021 Public Safety Answering Point and Regional Emergency Communication Center Support and Incentive Grant Fund.
Referred to finance.
Order that pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 4, City Council authorizes the mayor to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the Town of Whitman for treatment of wastewater.
Referred to finance.
Order that the City of Brockton hereby accepts a recoverable grant in the amount of $150,000 through Mass Development Site Readiness Grant Funds to be used to improve site readiness on property located in the vicinity of the Good Samaritan Medical Center, 824 Oak Street, Brockton, Mass., the site for the potential development of a new life science center.
Referred to finance.
Madam President,
Counselor Ianieri.
if I might, Madam President, we're at item number 45, and we can all see that this particular item that is before us is in regards to the Huntington School roof. I'm going to ask that we just waive some of the reading of this particular order, but I would ask that the clerk would, and indeed, read the most important part is what the CFO is mentioning here in regards to this particular item, and I think that's most important. So that's what I'd like to see done, that it'll let the clerk read the whole thing.
A motion's been made and properly seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter passes.
Order that the City of Brockton appropriate the amount of $2,934,376 for the purpose of paying costs of the roof replacement project at the Huntington Alternative School, 1121 Warren Avenue, Brockton, Mass. Then we go into the CFO's certification, and that is conditional. The CFO, in accordance with Section 5 of Chapter 324 of the Acts of 1990, certifies the proposed appropriation of and borrowing authorization for $2,934,376 for the purpose of roof repairs for the Huntington Alternative School without a detrimental impact on the continuous provision of the existing level of municipal services. This is a conditional certification based upon developing a clear plan for long-term debt management.
Refer to Finance.
Order that the City Council hereby declare the 4 city-owned parcels identified as Lot A, Lot C, Lot D, and Lot F on the approval not required plan of land dated November 5th, 2019, and which were formerly a portion of parcels 109-044 Franklin Street, 109-054, and 109-055 Petronelli Way, as surplus and available for the disposition, and that the mayor be and hereby authorized to transfer ownership in said parcels to the Brockton Redevelopment Authority and furtherance of the downtown Brockton Urban Revitalization Plan as approved by the Brockton City Council on July 25th, 2016, and the Mass Department of Housing and Community Development on October 14th, 2016.
Refer to Real Estate.
Resolved, whereas the city is currently evaluating plans for new public safety facilities, including a potential combined fire, police, and emergency management facility at a location to be determined, now therefore be it resolved, the mayor, city chief financial officer, and such other individuals as the mayor may determine to be appropriate, be invited to a finance committee meeting of September 21st, 2020, in order to provide information to the city council on the current progress of the public safety facilities project.
Refer to Finance.
Resolved, whereas elected and appointed officials will periodically hold professional development sessions to discuss, evaluate, and define roles and responsibilities, goals, objectives, and to establish best practices for the orderly function of the organization to which they belong. Resolved, that the City Council shall hold a professional development session on Saturday, October 24th, 2020, at a time and location to be determined by the city clerk. The clerk shall ensure the session is duly posted in compliance with the requirements of the Mass Open Meeting Law. The clerk shall develop an agenda in consultation with councilors who may offer recommendations for the topics to be discussed.
Refer to Finance.
We have the granting of petition of National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc., requesting permission to erect and maintain poles and wires to be placed thereon, together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as said companies may deem necessary to be owned and used in common by your petitioners, and the following public way all ways. Campanelli Industrial Drive, National Grid to install 3 new intermediate poles, P1-1, P5-1, P8-1, in order to raise the overhead wires higher due to low wire issues where trucks are hitting the wires.
The question is on granting. All those in favor of granting? All those opposed? The petition is granted. Councilor Lally?
Madam President, I move that we accept a late file.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion's been made to accept a late file and properly seconded.
Thank
All
you.
those in favor of accepting the late file? All those opposed?
I'll bring it to the clerk.
Okay.
And Council, September 14, 2020, ordered that the naming of Brookfield Drive also be known as Zuckerman Way, and dedication to Ray Zuckerman, sponsored by Councilor John Lally, Ward 6.
Referred to Finance. And I believe we have one more late file. The communication. So let me just,
Make a motion to accept the late file?
Second.
good second. Thank you. You should have that, Mr. Clerk, the late file. It's the
Robin?
communication from the mayor.
I don't have it.
You don't have the communication from the mayor regarding Attorney Bridges? It came in as a communication for a late file, but,
You just announced
We
it at
already-
the start
yes,
of the...
so I just, correct.
That's the thing.
Okay, that's,
If you want, we could just...
I don't, I thought you had to come through you, he said it
All right, I'll
would be done.
just...
Withdraw
I'll
my
do this
motion on
deal.
the late file, I think that's just a communication.
Yeah, it was just a communication to
Was
be
a
read, so.
communication, so if
Correct.
you want, we'll just say that there's a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of the city solicitor, Megan Bridges.
Correct.
We can
Okay.
move on that question.
So that's,
Yep.
okay, so you withdrew your motion, that's fine. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Councilors, does anybody have any councilors' recognition? Councilor Thompson?
Thank you, Madam President. As I stated last week, tomorrow, September 15th at 6:00 p.m., I'll be holding a community Zoom meeting regarding the development of the Christos property. I ask that all interested residents to go to the City of Brockton website page. The Zoom link is attached to our calendar page. Additionally, under our City and Planning and Development page, there is the 5 sketched out development scenarios that we'll be discussing tomorrow. You can also find the link and the development scenarios through my Facebook page, Jeffrey Thompson, Ward 5, Brockton City Councilor. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other counselors? I have a few announcements. The first one is the Annunciation Greek Orthodox Church at 457 Oak Street will be having their annual Greek festival, but it's called the Gyro Festival 2020. And this year, it's going to be September 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. It's going to be a little different. They have a limited menu, and orders can be placed online or by phone with curbside pickup. But hopefully everybody will go there. It's always fun to go and listen to the music and enjoy the food. Unfortunately, this year, due to COVID-19, we'll only be able to enjoy the food, and it's always they're always delicious and have it's always a great way to support our Greek community in Brockton. As your Ward 7 City Councilor, I'm announcing that I will be having a community meeting regarding the Augusta Estate subdivision. The meeting is going to be Thursday, September 24th at 7 p.m. at North Middle School. The developer will be there, and our city planner, Mr. May, will be there to be able to answer questions and look at plans. This project has been before the city for I believe, the past few years, but they are coming back with plans. So I will also be knocking on some doors and letting the abutters know about the meeting. So that's coming up September 24th. And I think that's Councilor Cruz.
Thank you. Just want to let members of the ordinance committee know that Tuesday evening, September 29th at 6:30, we'll be having an ordinance meeting. Our attorney will be posting it, so thank you.
No further business before us this evening. This meeting's adjourned.